Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the W Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Tom Brady, joined by the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, thanks for the time.
You're welcome.
Now, Coach, this past week, finished up the regular season, a pair of matches against Rider and Columbia. Wound up getting a 26-9 victory over Rider, 28-9 over Columbia. What did you think of your team's final regular season week?
I thought it was a good week. Obviously, we went 8-2 in both matches, so they were very convincing wins with teams that, you know, if we didn't wrestle well, they could have given us some tough challenges. And a lot of the matches, especially with Columbia, were very close matches, 3 overtime matches. We won 2 of the 3, and just some difficult matches. So I was really proud with the way the guys wrestled. You know, anytime you got to weigh in Thursday and then come back again and wrestle on Sunday, 2 road trips, it's never an easy situation. And I think they did a nice job going out there and controlling the matches and doing what, when we were winning, you know, it's pretty cut and dry with our guys. When they do the things that they're capable of doing, when they wrestle to their potential, we're very good. When we don't do those things, we can be beaten by, you know, pretty much anybody.
And some of those guys who have been strong for you all season, Steve Banana, 125, Jamie Franco, 133, Luke Bite, 141. They all go 2-0 on the week. They all post at least one major decision in one of the matches. I mean, obviously, Steve, maybe what you expected, but in guys like Jamie and Luke, how impressed have you been with their effort this season?
They've done a great, you know, Steve has been pretty consistent, and, you know, he started the season off strong, and he just continued to roll the whole way. So, yeah, he's pretty much been, you know, that's what we're expecting out of him every time he wrestles. And I'd say Jamie's done an outstanding job. He was kind of a little bit of a wild card in the beginning of the year. We knew he had some potential. You know, he's moving up a weight class and wanted to see what he could really do this year. And he had a great season, you know. And as the season went along, he got better and better. I think the only real hiccup he had was the Binghamton match where he kind of blew that lead in a very winnable match. But, you know, to go on to this weekend and beat the kid from Rider very convincingly, you know, major decision, 11-0, just really dominated that match. You know, there's a good chance we will see him in the semifinals of conferences. So to get that win and just kind of let that kid know that you're just not on my level, and then to you know, wrestle so well against the kid Gilchrist, who's very, you know, looked enormous at the weight class, you know, very tall, and to win that match in overtime. Just a very solid effort by Jamie all season long, and it continued, and we expect him to do, you know, big things at the conferences. We expect him to qualify a weight class and be wrestling in, you know, out in St. Louis. Luke has had an outstanding season. We knew for a long time he was very good. I still don't think he's getting the recognition nationally he deserves. You know, he's beaten All-Americans this year. He's had some tough losses, but he just, you know, he's steady. Every match he goes out there, he does the things that he does, and he wins matches. So, you know, he's another guy we're expecting a strong march from. And, you know, he continued that this weekend with, you know, he got the injury default, but he was winning pretty big. And he had a major decision against Rider, against a kid who, again, is the number 3 ranked kid in the conference, and he completely dominated that match.
As you keep going up the weight classes, 149, Justin Accardino bounced back with a 2-0 week for him. Tyler Banks at 157, he bounced back as well, a 2-0 week for him. And PJ Gillespie also coming out, and 2 pretty convincing victories for him, and going 2-0.
Yeah, I think Justin and Tyler had great weekends. You know, I think if you look at from a ranking standpoint, Justin had the most difficult weekend out of anybody on the team. The kid Sabula was a returning conference champion from Rider. You know, to get that win and the way he did it, you know, just build his confidence, you know, getting 2 takedowns in the 3rd period, just really wearing the kid out, and just wrestling a complete match was outstanding. And then the kid Santos is very underrated from Columbia. And I think the kid has 6 losses on the year. All of them, excluding Justin, are probably the top 10 kids. So he's a guy that is very under the radar, very good wrestler. So we knew it was a big match going in there. So for Justin to come out this weekend 2-0, great confidence going into conferences, and he should be looking to, you know, be looking to win that tournament when he comes in there. PJ, you know, did a nice job this weekend, kind of typical PJ style. You know, I felt he controlled the match against Savan, who's been at the national tournament a couple times, one of Columbia's better wrestlers. Controlled the match, gave up kind of a stupid takedown, which made the match a lot closer than it was, and sent it into overtime. But again, we just dominated the whole match, even though the score was pretty close. And those are the things we talk about week in and week out with PJ. You know, I'd like him to open up a little bit more, hit his single leg a little bit more, and build his lead as opposed to winning all these close matches. But you know, that's kind of PJ, and he's in his 5th year, and it's going to be difficult to change him in the last month. So kind of gets your heart going, but that's him.
At 174, Jermaine John. A tough week for him, wound up getting pinned twice in both of his matches, lost by pin. Ben Clymer, though, another strong week for him. He goes 2-0 for you and really continues to be maybe one of your hottest wrestlers so far in the season.
Yeah, Jermaine, we got to get wrestling better. He's just really lacking a lot of confidence right now. He's tentative in everything he does. And the guys he wrestled this weekend, Resnick and West, are very good wrestlers. And they're not going to give you chances. So they felt it, and they took advantage of the situation and decked him twice. And, you know, for Jermaine, he's got to regroup. He's got 2 weeks off. He's got to get his head right. And he's got to score some points at the conference tournament for us because it's going to be close. And we need everybody in the team scoring points. So we need him to get wrestling much better than he has this last month of the season. Ben's done a great job. You know, I'd like to see him score some more points in his matches, open him up a little bit more. The guys are starting to really scout him and try and shut down his single leg, and which is fine. You got to go. He has other things, and he's got to open himself up and go to those things because he's capable of doing scoring more points than he has been lately. And we got to get him wrestling back to the way he was in mid-January and kind of get away from the way he's been wrestling the last couple of weeks. He's been winning, but not the way we expect him to win.
At 197, Tim Murphy had a chance to come away with a victory for you. He wound up dropping to 0-2 on the match. And as for Paul Snyder, he had a very good week for himself, 2-0. Nice win for himself as he tries to build a little resume now.
Yeah, Tim, you know, had 2 heartbreaking losses for him. To lose those matches, one in, I don't know what it was, 3 overtimes, 4 overtimes, something like that, in a match that really, you know, he deserved to win the match. He had a reversal at the end of the one thing. They gave him the 1 point instead. It should have been the match, but, you know, those are the things that, listen, you can't, you know, you get those things in matches and you got to overcome them, and we didn't do it. He wrestled as hard as he could. The kid was a pretty solid guy, and but again, you got to find a way to get your hand raised. Same thing at Ryder. You know, he was wrestling. He wore the kid out. He had him completely exhausted. Made 1 technical mistake. Ended up giving up 3 back points, and it was just a little too much for him to overcome. So we got to get him correcting those things and get him wrestling. You know, I don't want to say we got to get him wrestling better because he's wrestling fairly well. We just got to wrestle a little smarter and not give away those easy points. And if he does that, and we'll see what he can do at the conferences. Paul had a very solid weekend. We expected him to beat the kid Craig from Ryder. He's beaten him every time they wrestled. The kid Lester was more of a match where we weren't favored in. We had lost to him last year probably 3 or 4 times, and by pretty big margins. So for Paul to come out and go out there and get that first takedown, you could see as soon as he got that first takedown, it gave him some confidence in the match. And then he did a really good job of wrestling the whole time, finishing up with a takedown to win 5-2. And really a match he kind of controlled. So great win for him. Let's hope he can build off of it and go into the conferences. You know, we'll probably be the 4th seed at the conference tournament, so we got an uphill battle, but he's definitely capable of winning in that semifinals match and winning the tournament.
Now you got a little bit of time before that conference tournament, so just give me some clue as to what are the preparations going to be like, and what are you going to be working hard on with your guys to make sure they're ready for the conference tournament?
Yeah, at this point in time in the season, you know, we're going to be working on a little bit of conditioning, a little bit of strength, but fine-tuning what they already do. It's kind of late in the season to be adding things. If you don't know it by now, you're going to have to work on it in the off season. We don't want to be adding things right now. Let's get the things that you do well, and let's get them a little bit better. Let's get a little bit better shape, and let's try and get a little bit stronger. And as we're doing those things, make sure we stay healthy. So practices are going to become a lot shorter. We're going to be in and out of the wrestling room because, again, 2-hour practices at this point in time, they don't do much. They wear your body down. We got 2 weeks left before conferences. So the practices are going to be very focused, very intense, and fairly short.
And how helpful do you think it'll be to some of your guys to, maybe have a week off, not have a match to worry about this weekend, kind of regroup and then get back at it against conferences?
From a health standpoint, it's going to help us out. We can rest a couple guys, and we took yesterday off. We're going to stay off the mat again today. So the biggest thing is we need to be healthy going into next weekend, and as we try and recover, try and get the best workouts we can for that week. So yeah, it's from a mental standpoint, you don't have to worry about a competition, you don't have to worry about making weight, so they can kind of relax a little bit. But this sport, at this point in the year, you've put so much time into it. There's less than 30 days left in the season. If they're not focused on this point in time and this part of the season, they shouldn't be out there competing. So I don't think we have anything like that with our guys. They're very focused. They have high goals. and they don't need mental breaks and stuff like that. They're ready to go.
All right, Rob Anspach, head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team. Thanks for joining us inside the W Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com.
Thank you.